Who are you? It is the oldest and most profound question of the human experience. Are you a biological machine? A collection of impulses and neurons? Are you a soul? A spiritual being having a human experience? Or, perhaps, are you a story? And if you are a story, who is writing it? Is it your past? Is it the trauma, the victories, the wounds, and the programming of your childhood? Are you simply an echo of what has come before? Or are you the author, with a blank page in front of you every morning, free to choose your own adventure, to build your own future? This is not just a philosophical debate. This is the central conflict in all of psychology, and it is a battle defined by two giants. In one corner, we have Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, the cartographer of our inner darkness, the man who taught us that we are pushed by primal forces from a past we barely understand. In the other corner, Abraham Maslow, the father of humanistic psychology, the architect of human potential, the man who argued that we are pulled by a future vision of our greatest possible selves. This is the ultimate showdown for your identity, Freud versus Maslow. And the answer to this debate will define not just who you think you are, but who you have the power to become. To understand Freud, you must understand his world. Imagine Vienna at the turn of the 20th century. This was the Victorian Age, a time of intense social restriction, buttoned-up formality, and profound sexual repression. On the surface, it was all corsets, manners, and polite society. But beneath that surface, Freud observed a boiling cauldron of hysteria, anxiety, and neurosis. Freud, a medical doctor and neurologist, was fascinated by patients, mostly women, who presented with very real physical symptoms: paralysis, blindness, coughing for which there was no physical cause. His contemporaries dismissed them as hysterical and weak-willed, but Freud listened. He listened as they talked, especially under hypnosis, and he noticed something revolutionary. When they spoke of painful, buried memories, often related to childhood trauma or repressed desires, their symptoms would lessen. This was the birth of the talking cure, and it led Freud to his single greatest discovery, the unconscious. Freud proposed that the human mind was not a single rational entity. Instead, it was a battleground. He gave us the structural model. First, there is the id. This is the primal, animalistic part of you. Buried deep in the unconscious, it operates on the pleasure principle. It wants what it wants now. It is pure, unfiltered desire for food, power, and sex. Next, there is the superego. This is the internalized voice of society, of your parents, of your teachers. It is your moral compass, your inner critic. It operates on the principle of morality, telling you what you should and should not do. It is the source of guilt and shame. And finally, caught in the middle, there is the ego. This is you, or at least the part you think of as you. The ego operates on the reality principle. Its job is to mediate the chaotic demands of the id and the rigid judgments of the superego, all while navigating the dangers of the external world. For Freud, all human anxiety and dysfunction came from the conflict between these three forces. The ego is a stressed-out manager, desperately trying to keep the company from exploding. But here is where the Freudian trap snaps shut. Freud was a determinist. He believed in psychic determinism, the idea that nothing in the mind happens by chance. Every slip of the tongue, every accidental mistake, every dream, it all means something. It's a clue, a bubble rising from the unconscious past. Freud famously said, "The child is father to the man." He meant that the core of your personality, your neuroses, your fears, and your desires are all fundamentally locked in place by your experiences in the first 5 to 6 years of life. Your adult life is simply a reenactment, You are not choosing your partners. Your unconscious is choosing someone who reminds you of your mother or father. You are not choosing your career. You are sublimating a primal urge into something socially acceptable. To protect itself from the anxiety of this inner war, your ego develops a sophisticated arsenal, defense mechanisms. When a memory or desire is too painful, you use repression, shoving it deep into the unconscious, pretending it doesn't exist. When you feel an unacceptable impulse, say, intense anger, you use projection, accusing someone else of being angry with you. When you do something you know is wrong, you use rationalization, creating a complex, logical-sounding excuse to justify it. Do you see the trap? In the Freudian model, you are not free. You are a puppet, and your unconscious past is the puppeteer. Your entire life is a complex, tragic play about your childhood. This is a profoundly pessimistic view of humanity. It suggests the best you can ever hope for is to manage your dysfunction. The goal of psychoanalysis was not to make you happy, but, as Freud reportedly said, to transform neurotic misery into common unhappiness. You cannot escape your past. You can only become grimly, painfully aware of it. For decades, this was the dominant force in psychology. We were all seen as fundamentally wounded, driven by dark forces we could never truly control. Now, fast forward 50 years. The world is emerging from the ashes of 2 world wars. The limitations of Freud's pessimistic psychology are becoming clear. A new school, behaviorism, has also risen, claiming we are nothing but our environment, simple robots responding to stimulus, reward, and punishment. In this landscape, a group of thinkers emerged who said, "No, this is not all we are." They called themselves the third force in psychology, and their leader was Abraham Maslow. Maslow was born in Brooklyn, a lonely, unhappy child who found refuge in books. He was a brilliant student of psychology, but he grew deeply frustrated with its limitations. He famously said, "The study of crippled, stunted, immature, and unhealthy specimens can only yield a cripple psychology and a cripple philosophy." Freud, he argued, built an entire theory of humanity by studying the sickest half. The behaviorists built a theory by studying rats. Maslow wanted to know, what about the best of us? What about the healthy, the functional, the extraordinary? What about the people who are not just surviving their past, but are actively creating a vibrant future? He wanted to build a psychology of human potential. This was the birth of humanistic psychology. Maslow's first and most famous contribution was the hierarchy of needs. It's an idea so powerful it has become a cultural icon, but most people misunderstand it. It is not just a simplistic pyramid from a business textbook. It is a revolutionary roadmap for human motivation. At the bottom, you have the physiological needs: air, food, water, sleep. These are the deficiency needs, or D needs. If you don't have them, they consume your entire reality. As Maslow noted, a man who is starving, all his capacities are bent upon the one purpose of getting food. Once those are met, you move to safety needs. This is not just physical safety from violence. In our modern world, this is financial security, stable housing, health insurance. It's the need for order, predictability, and freedom from chronic fear. A person trapped in a state of financial anxiety or living in a chaotic environment cannot focus on higher goals. When you feel safe, you ascend to the love and belonging needs. This is the heart of the pyramid. This is the profound human ache for connection, for friends, for family, for a romantic partner, for a tribe. Maslow understood that chronic loneliness is one of the deepest pains a human can experience. So many of us get stuck right here. We have food, we have a roof, but we feel disconnected. This is the crisis of modern loneliness. Does this resonate with you? Do you feel that you, or the people around you, are most stuck on one of these first 3 levels? If this video is already giving you value and making you think, do me a favor and tap that like button. It genuinely helps me understand what kind of content resonates most with this community. Once you feel a sense of belonging, you pursue esteem needs. Maslow brilliantly split this into 2 parts. First, there is the lower form of esteem, the need for respect from others. This is fame, reputation, status, applause. But more importantly, there is the higher form, the need for respect from yourself. This is self-respect, competence, mastery, independence, and freedom. This is the point where Freud's model ends. For Freud, life was about managing the demands of the id and superego to achieve a stable ego. But for Maslow, this is where life truly begins. Everything below this point on the pyramid was a D need, a deficiency need. You are motivated by a lack of something. But at the very top, Maslow identified a completely different kind of motivation. He called them B needs, or being needs. This is the realm of self-actualization. Self-actualization is a concept many people talk about, but few truly understand. It is not success. It is not fame, wealth, or power. It is not a final destination you reach, or a trophy you win. Self-actualization is the process. It is the continuous, lifelong journey of becoming everything you have the potential to be. It is the artist compelled to paint, the musician who must make music, the teacher born to teach. It is, in Maslow's words, the desire to become more and more what one is, to become everything that one is capable of becoming. When you operate from this level, you are no longer motivated by fear, anxiety, or what other people think. You are motivated by a call from within. You are motivated by the B values: truth, goodness, beauty, justice, simplicity, wholeness, playfulness. You don't pursue justice because you were a victim. You pursue it because justice itself is a beautiful, worthy goal. You don't seek truth to win an argument. You seek it because truth is intrinsically valuable. People on the path of self-actualization are different. Maslow studied them, people like Albert Einstein and Eleanor Roosevelt. He found they shared common traits. They were reality-centered, able to spot dishonesty. They were problem-centered, focused on missions outside themselves. They were autonomous, unconcerned with fads or popular opinion. And they experienced peak experiences, moments of profound joy, transcendence, and connection to the universe, where they felt whole, complete, and at one with the world. This is Maslow's escape. It is the most optimistic vision in all of psychology. It says that no matter what your past holds, no matter how low you are on the pyramid, the drive towards self-actualization is always present within you, waiting. So, let's bring this battle home. Let's use a real-world scenario. Imagine 2 women, Anna and Maria. Both grew up in homes with emotionally abusive, narcissistic parents. Their past is a landscape of trauma, neglect, and feeling worthless. Now, let's look at them through both lenses. The Freudian lens sees Anna. Anna is trapped. She is driven by a repetition compulsion. She finds herself in relationships with narcissistic partners, one after another, unconsciously trying to fix her past by restaging it. She is anxious, insecure, and her ego is using a dozen defense mechanisms to keep her from facing the rage she feels toward her parents. In the Freudian view, Anna is a tragic product of her past. To heal, she must spend years in therapy, excavating that past, understanding the wound. Now, the Maslow lens sees Maria. Maria has the exact same past. She feels the same wound. But her focus is different. Her safety and belonging needs were shattered. So, as an adult, she makes a conscious choice to build a life of profound stability. She creates a found family of deep, supportive friendships. She works on her esteem needs by becoming incredibly competent at her job. But she doesn't stop there. Her suffering becomes a catalyst. It ignites her B values. Having experienced injustice, she is now fiercely driven by the need for justice. She becomes a social worker, dedicating her life to helping children in the same situation. She has taken the worst part of her past and transformed it into her life's mission. She is on the path to self-actualization. What's the difference? Freud tells you what you are, a product of the past. Maslow tells you what you can become, a creator of your future. Freud's psychology teaches you to look backward, to excavate, to analyze the wound. Maslow's psychology teaches you to look forward, to build, to reach for your potential. Now, you have to answer. When you look at your own life, your struggles, your habits, your successes, which lens feels more true? Do you feel more like a product of your past, as Freud described? Or do you feel that you are an agent of your future, on a path towards self-actualization, as Maslow proposed? I am genuinely curious to read your stories. Share your perspective in the comments below. So, who was right in this grand debate? Freud or Maslow? The truth is, both had flaws, and both were right. Freud's critics are many. His theories are notoriously unscientific. They are unfalsifiable. You can't design an experiment to prove the id. He was culturally limited, building a universal theory based on a tiny sample of upper-class Viennese women, and his overfixation on sex and aggression feels reductionist. But Maslow's critics are also valid. His psychology is also unscientific. His sample size for self-actualization was tiny and, by his own admission, elitist. He studied the best people he could find, which creates a bias, and his hierarchy isn't as rigid as it looks. We all know the starving artist, a person who bypasses their safety and esteem, needs to pursue self-actualization through their art. Here is the grand synthesis. Here is the truth that will change how you see your life. You do not have to choose. You need both. Freud is the diagnostician. Maslow is the architect. If you have a broken leg, you don't want an architect telling you to visualize the perfect staircase. You need a surgeon to set the bone. Freud is that surgeon. He is the master diagnostician of the human past. He gave us the X-ray. He gave us the language to understand our wounds, our traumas, our defense mechanisms, and our compulsions. You cannot build a future if your past is an unexploded bomb beneath your feet. You must excavate. You must understand your darkness. But once the bone is set, you don't stay in the hospital. You have to learn to walk again. You have to decide where to go. That is where Maslow comes in. He is the architect who hands you the blueprint for a cathedral. He reminds you that you are not just a healed wound. You are a builder. He restores your dignity, your agency, and your potential. He points to the sky and says, that is what you are capable of. We are all a product of our past, but we are not prisoners of it. We are back to our original question. Who are you? You are a story that is constantly being written, and you are holding the pen. The Freudian trap is real, but only if you believe you have no key. The past is a powerful force, but it is not the only force. Maslow's path is also real, but it is not easy. It is a choice you must make every single day. It is the choice to take responsibility, the choice to stop blaming your past and start building your future, the choice to pursue what is meaningful, not just what is easy, the choice to be honest, to be courageous, and to be kind. Self-actualization is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming whole. It is about having the courage to face the darkness of your past that Freud uncovered, and still choosing to reach for the light of your potential that Maslow illuminated. Your past is a fact. It cannot be changed. But your future is a potential. It is waiting to be created. The choice is yours. If you are ready to start that journey to understand your psychology, not just as a set of problems, but as a set of potentials, then this is your community. If you want to explore more of these big ideas to help you build your best life, consider subscribing and join us. Thank you for watching.